Hey folks. So last episode we got our load game logic fully set up with our UI and gave that all a test, made sure everything worked fine there. This episode, as I mentioned, I'm going to go through and work through the steps for making a release build with C++. It's a little different, not by much, but enough that I think it needs a tutorial all on its own. So one of the first things you're going to see, we're in the project here in Visual Studio. One of the first things we're going to want to do is go into the fall project, going to properties, and we want to add a preprocessor definitions. So in here, you go down to your nmake IntelliSense preprocessor definitions and then edit. It's going to pop up this window here. And what these are defines that are based on the build type you select up here in the top. Right now, I'll drop to this. You can see we're in our active development editor. I actually just want to show you something here. So we have shipping. So I'm going to go in here and edit this. Nothing. What I'm going to define in here is shipping build. So actually I'm going to call that release build. If I could spell release build, all capitals. We're going to apply that. We're going to click OK. Now there's a reason for that, and that is in our player character. So if we go into that source file, it is right here. This is not something that's available in a release build. This is only in for the editor and things like that. So what we're going to do here, if ndef release build, and then on the other side of that we're going to put ndif. And this allows you basically to create gated code that is going to be controlled based on the build type you're doing. There is some UE4 built-in defines that you could use. I just prefer to create my own. So well, it's defined. I thought I changed that. Configuration. No, that's wrong. Properties up here. Okay, well, I'm going to go to development editor. Oh, it applied to all of them. That's why. I'm going to get rid of it here, and I'm going to put dev build. I'm going to click apply. Now we're going to go look at our shipping. It's not letting me. Am I doing this in the wrong place? Where are preprocessors? Okay, so that's not working. I'm going to leave that for now while I dig into that. That may be something unique to the way Unreal Engine is working. What I'm going to do, though, for now, I'm going to comment this out, obviously, because, well, we have an issue there. The next thing you're going to do is up here, you're going to change your build type to shipping. Minimize your project for a moment and come all the way down here to automation tools and Unreal build tools. So you want to build your automation tools. Now this will take a moment. There you go. It's not a huge amount of time. And then the same thing for the build tools. Okay, and that one is already up to date. Now, the next thing you want to do, I'm going to do this through here. We're going to launch the project through the Epic Launcher. Okay, instead of just sitting here in silence, I'm going to pause the recording and I will be back as soon as that has launched. All right, we're in the editor now. So the next thing you want to do once you get into your editor is go to your editor, or edit project settings. Oh, I've got it opening up over here. Over on your left-hand side, project packaging. Most of these I'm not really worried about to start with. But you want to come down here, and this may be minimized, but in your packaging settings, go to your expand advanced, scroll down, and you're going to find list of maps to include in a package build. Now the reason for this is it is going to reduce the overall size of your final release. If you don't have anything in here, it's just going to include everything. So what you're going to do is click on these. I'm going to expand that. We've got 3. You can open that up, and it's going to give you a file window. In this case, we want a persistent map. We want our main menu map, and also our dev map. Come on, open up. Dev map. All right, so we've got those 3. If there's any additional assets that aren't included within those 3 maps that you're wanting to include, you would want to add that here for additional asset directories to cook. Right now, I'm not worried about that because I don't have anything else. This is just a really basic build to make sure everything is working. We're able to launch the game, get to the main menu, start a new game, and load our game. So, not worried about anything there. And everything is being really slow. So I'm going to minimize the packaging, not the whole section. Come on, the packaging section. I'm just going to take a quick look to make sure there's nothing else. Project as code, build configuration. In here, you want to change that to shipping. Build target, full rebuild. For distribution, so for what we're doing here, we don't need this. We don't need to do a full rebuild. We enforce each time the project is being packaged. If disabled, only modify files. I would recommend you do a full rebuild every now and again, but you don't need to do that every single time. And then finally, prerequisites. Include prerequisite installers. Include app local prerequisites. We don't have any. And that's just app local prerequisite directory. So now that is it for things like you're wanting to have a MySQL database, things like that. So now that we've done that, we're going to move this out of the way. And it's actually quite simple. Just up here in the top, you're going to see platforms. Click on that to expand it. Find, in this case, I'm only looking at Windows. We're wanting a shipping build and package project. Now you're going to want to save that to someplace in your project or someplace locally. I tend to save them in a project folder called folder test builds. I select that folder. And now you have packaging project for Windows. So I'm going to pull this over in our output log. You can see in here there is going to be a lot of activity as this is going through. You're also going to see some things that might raise some concerns to start with. Like right now I'm only packaging for Windows, and once this gets going, hopefully it doesn't take too long, but you're going to see it mentions things about like Linux and Mac and things like that. It's not actually building for those. It's only building for Windows. So, just making sure here. Now this process can, depending how big of a project you've got, in this case the 3 maps I have are very basic. It's not including all of my blueprint actors or anything like that. But this is going to go very quickly in comparison to a little later on in the project. So okay, I'm not actually sure what happened here. For some reason, Unreal Editor is using like none of my system resources, and there's nothing for the build that's actually using my system resources. OBS is using more. So I'm going to cancel this build. Let's see, nothing's actually showing up there. Message log. Yeah, so I wonder what didn't work there. So, okay, I'm going to close out of the editor quickly. I'm going to hop back to Visual Studio. I'm going to actually build this as shipping. That might have been what happened. Well, might be why it didn't take as long for me last time. But so yeah, this one I am going to pause just because it gives you a execution time on these. So I'll pause the video and I'll be back once this build is done. Alright, so that build took, what, not quite 3 minutes. So now I've done that, I'm going to drop this back to the development editor build. I'm going to run that. This is going to take a moment to build as well. So I'm going to pause the editor there. And I will be back once, well, pause the video I should say, and I'll be back once we're actually in the editor. Hopefully this will fix the build issue I'm having. Alright, so we're back in the editor now, and we're going to try this one more time. So, platform. It's being unresponsive, there we go. Windows, package project. Kept our save location from last time, we're going to select that. Pull over my output log. And I'm just going to see if it gets hung on that same place it got hung last time. I'll pause the video. Nope, looks like it's moving forward. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, it's moving further along. But as I mentioned last attempt, it's mentioned it was going to load a bunch of stuff. And you don't need to worry, it's not actually building for that. So these here you can see are all game third person. This is all regarding our character. Oh, there's one that's not. These two. eCoreStat and CoreStat are the same. CoreStat when exposed to Python. Oh, the script name metadata. While this builds, I'm going to do that real quick here. Default source. Public data types eCoreStat. Script name equals core stat enum. So now this isn't going to take effect on what we're doing right now. And it helps if I put the second close bracket on there. But this is going to cover, fix that error going forward. Sorry, my dog is going crazy out in the yard. There we go. Let's just pull this down, trying to get this to the bottom. So it's actually not taking that long to build. But as you can see, there's a lot of stuff it's going through. Oh, we're close to the end here. There we go. Packaging is complete. So now, let me just pull up the project here. So we have our test build folder. You can see Windows. There you go. Engine, the fall, and the fall exe. So we're going to launch that. Oh, that opened on my other monitor. Pull that over. And there you go. You can see we have our basic setup. We're going to hit new game. And you can see here we do have our basic stuff in place. Hit I to open our inventory, which we don't actually have anything in place. Now, we can't get out, but so I'm going to just run over, let's see, over here to the side. I'm going to hit 7 to save. I'm going to run over to the side over here. I'm going to hit 9, and we're going to see if my save game logic worked or if it broke with this test build. So 9, and there we go. We are back over into our other place. So again, as I mentioned, we have no way of bringing up a game menu, so the only thing you can do is Alt F4 out. But that is the first test build, and the whole purpose of this is that's making sure everything you have done so far is actually working on your target platform. Again, you don't have to do this every time you do any major changes, but I would recommend this is something you do often enough to, like, every couple weeks, every month, every milestone, depending on how you're doing your development. But that's something I would recommend you do just to do some additional testing, because again, you don't want to do a huge amount of work, like months of work, and then do the test and go, oh no, it's not working. Something I've done is broken. So this is going to be a shorter episode here. We've only hit the 20-minute mark, and we pretty much covered everything I wanted to this episode. Next episode is going to be starting on our temperature system. I'd mentioned it in the comments, but it's actually was the next big project I wanted to work on, or not big project, next major portion of this project that I wanted to work on was to get a temperature system in place. I screwed this up. Okay, that's why there's no hyphen in there. Anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, the next one is going to be covering our temperature system. And that's going to probably be the last major or large component before I hit that stage of I now need to start planning things even further. The temperature system was one I had to really wanted to refactor over some of my previous attempts, so I had to do a lot of pre-planning there. But anyways, folks, as always, thanks for watching. Any comments, questions, suggestions, concerns, feel free to throw them in the comments below. And as always, if there's any like one-off tutorial ideas you would like, mention it in the comments, and I'll see if it's something I can put together for you. Anyways, thanks for watching, folks, and I will catch you in the next episode.